Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a truly powerful, honestly perspective shifting document. We're taking a close look at a May 2023 manifesto on nation building titled Save the Future, penned by Oluyomi Ola David. And you know, what makes this piece so incredibly fascinating is how she takes this massive, often overwhelming concept of national development and just distills it down into highly personal, totally manageable pieces. Let's break down her framework to understand exactly how she believes we can quite literally save the future. Oluyomi opens her manifesto with these striking, almost poetic lines. Little seeds become oaks. Let us plan our forests. It immediately hooks you, right? She's setting up her core thesis right from the jump. This profound idea that micro, individual actions compound into massive, macro societal shifts. She's essentially asking us to look at the absolute tiniest unit of potential, the seed, and recognize that it holds the entire blueprint for an ecosystem. It's a gorgeous metaphor, and she uses it to anchor her entire philosophy of change. But before we go any deeper into her actual words, it's absolutely crucial to understand the architect behind them. Oluyomi Ola David is a visionary thinker and policy influencer. She describes herself as someone who really enjoys generating solutions, influencing policy and strategy, and just providing clarity. She's also deeply anchored in her faith, noting that her creator guides her path. Her entire focus is on real transformation. I mean, she isn't just sitting around pointing out problems, she is actively out there looking for ways to build frameworks that actually solve them. And this brilliantly illustrates her underlying motivation, which is remarkably simple, yet just profound. She says, "I am a Nigerian and I love people. I am concerned about global development and transformation." Her drive isn't rooted in some abstract economic theory. It is fueled by her deep, abiding love for her people. She clearly ties her local identity directly to her broader concern for global transformation. Basically, she sees her own nation's success as intrinsically linked to the development of the entire world. So, she framed this entire message around a very specific occasion, Nigerian Children's Day. The visual she designed for this perfectly encapsulates her micro to macro view of national development. Notice that visual staircase on the graphic, stepping upwards block by block. Each step has a small circle, kind of like a little seed, resting on top of it, all the way up to the final step. She is visually arguing that growth is step by step, it's incremental, and it absolutely requires foundational support to elevate to the very next level. Let's break down the actual mechanics of her argument here. She contrasts these micro actions, the little seeds, representing those quiet, everyday, gentle moments of nurturing our children, directly against the macro outcomes, oaks and forests. And then she shifts from a gentle observation about nature right into an authoritative call to action. We absolutely cannot enjoy the safety and shade of the forest tomorrow if we neglect the seeds today. Save the children, she urges, because quite frankly, that is the only way to save the future. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how she pivots, brilliantly by the way, from the natural world straight into human behavior. Little habits become culture. She is decoding her poetry into concrete, actionable insights for all of society. Our daily routines, those small moral choices we make when literally no one is looking, these are the micro actions. Over time, these habits calcify into our macro reality, culture, and institutions. She tells us, let us choose right, save the institutions, save the environment. She recognizes clearly that a nation's institutions are only as strong as the collective daily habits of its citizens. And then she actually applies this exact same framework to the economy. Think about it. A little leak, like an ignored inefficiency, a really small act of corruption, a tiny waste of resources, that eventually compounds into a stream, a flood of loss that can completely drown an economy. Her solution to this is super practical. Let us develop our industry, save the goods, save the market. She makes economics deeply personal here, showing us that protecting the market and driving sustainable industry is deeply rooted in our everyday vigilance. But her message carries a really stark warning too. Little error becomes folly. Little cracks become vulnerable. Actually, think about how those seemingly harmless mistakes, the minor divisions we allow between ourselves, the small resentments, they compound. The macro outcome of that? Total vulnerability, a nation divided and completely compromised. To fix this, she issues a heartfelt call. Let us transform our hearts. She totally understands that you can't just legislate unity. It has to stem from a fundamental internal transformation within the people themselves. Let's move to and see how this builds to her truly powerful climax. The ultimate micro action she's calling for is a united purpose.
It's a choice made by individuals to align their goals for the greater good, to heal those little cracks we literally just talked about. And the resulting macro outcome is the ultimate prize, peace and the nation itself. She writes, "Let us unite our purpose, save the peace, save the nation." By uniting, she argues, we resolve those systemic vulnerabilities, and we secure the very survival and prosperity of the country.
So the crucial point is how she grounds all of this beautiful emotional poetry into hard global policy frameworks. Her chosen hashtags are incredibly deliberate and frankly just brilliant. She explicitly links her ideas to the UN's 5 Ps framework: peace, people, planet, prosperity, and partnership. And then she directly ties her concepts to specific sustainable development goals focused on health, quality education, and strong institutions. She absolutely proves that true nation building requires both the poet's heart and the policymaker's structure. We've seen how Oluyomi Oladavid takes us from just a single seed to a soaring forest, from a simple daily habit to a lasting institution. Her plea for the next generation on Nigerian Children's Day is a blueprint for all of us, no matter where we are. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the very question her manifesto provokes. Look at your own life, your own daily habits. What little seed will you plant today to save the future? Because as she so clearly showed us, those tiny seeds will inevitably become the culture of tomorrow. Thanks so much for learning with me today.